And we are live. And I am not live VIP. And with me is not live VIP. With me is the Chapster. Hello, Chappy.
Hello. Oh my god, it's fantastic to be here. First time casting with the CranKy Ducklings, after a debut at PAXLAN about a week ago. So I'm really excited tonight to be casting with you, Asher.
Yeah, and we have some banger games coming up tonight in the World Team League. We have, of course, later on tonight, the CranKy Ducklings, our very own team, are going to be going up against Alpha X. But before that, we do have a very exciting game for you. We have Onsyde Gaming. And first up, we see Neeb, Maru, and Rex. So a lot of very exciting players. Chappy, what can you tell us about Maru right now?
I am obviously Maru is let's say the GOAT at the moment. In Korea, he just got G5L. He's an insanely good player, obviously. Every Terran simps over him for good reason. And it'll be exciting to see if the other guys can take him down, because he really is the one that is expected to 2-0.
Yeah, he is really expected not to drop a game, but this is a pretty good roster going up against him. We have Nice and Cyan, Rattata and Dream. Dream has had a bit of spotty form lately, but showed against Raynor a couple weeks ago that he still has what it takes to at least take down some maps against the top players. But let's have a look at the matchups. We're actually not going to be seeing Maru tonight.
Oh wow, okay, so some good matchups tonight. Solar versus Cyan, Rex versus Nice, Neeb versus Dream. Some exciting matches tonight.
Yeah,
anything you're looking forward to? Oh, boy, I love it.
I'm looking forward to the TVP because we're going to find out if TVP is truly unwinnable.
Well, Neeb is a killer, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Neeb very strong, especially in that matchup. But here we have the two head-to-head ace players. Mara, of course, won't be playing tonight, but Dream picked out as the ace player for Good Game Gaming, interestingly. So we'll have to see if he can take that game off Neeb, but it looks like we're going to be heading straight into the power hexagons. And what do you think of this one? Do you think this adequately represents Solar?
I am slightly behind in the stream. Really, it just shows him being a very strong player. Really, stronger on offense than I thought, but insane macro, and I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, for Cyan, a little bit lower, but they're rating his defense and micro quite highly. So looks like when we've got the two players matching up, the route to victory for Solar apparently is going to be strategy and offense. So we'll have to see if that really comes into play on Cosmic Sapphire, which is a pretty interesting map for ZVP. What are the kind of things that you've been seeing on this map for ZVP, Chappy?
Definitely, it's such a strange map, because when we think about it in Zerg vs Terran, Zerg gets so much more map control. They get to take the goal base in the bottom left corner. But at the moment, it's a lot in flux for ZVP. Zerg and Protoss can both of them can get map control. Both of them can get that goal base, which is really interesting. I think that it's probably slightly better for Zerg, but it's got possibilities to take 5 bases as Protoss, which is really where Protoss gets insanely strong, I think.
Yeah, totally. So would you say maybe like the key to victory for these players is to get that goal base?
Maybe. Not even necessarily so, because ZVP can end at those 4 or 5 base marks. When we've seen Solar in the past, especially, he loves to kill a 4 or 5 base Protoss just with masses of Hydraling Bane. His offense is that high because he can just kill people with the sharp timing, with +2, with Banelings in every single direction. And I think Solar's going to be the aggressive one, and Cyan is really going to have to hold on.
Yeah, totally. I have noticed a lot. Solar's got really good killer instinct. Like a lot of the games that I've been watching with him, he'll just kind of hold on, and eke out these small advantages. And then as soon as there's this one moment of weakness, he has this insane timing that he hits, like in all matchups as well. But especially when I'm watching it against Terrans, like he's kind of this impenetrable fortress for the first 10 minutes. His creep spread's insane. And then he's just straight across the map with this huge timing and just rolls over his opponents. I
agree. When I think of Solar, I think of him as probably the most EU of all the Korean Zergs, actually. It's just this insanely strong early game that just hits this mega mid game and just can roll over people. It's really sick to see.
That must be very exciting for you, Chappy.
Oh, you know me, an EU
Bit of
simp through and through.
bit of EU Zerg gameplay.
Yeah, of course. If you're Zerg, the EU guys, like, they're just so beautiful. The Raynors, the cereals of the word. Even
I'm
just
sorry.
last night, we saw them face. Oh, okay, sorry. You're getting me talking
I'm
about
sorry,
EU
I thought you
Zergs.
started. Aye, aye, aye. Yeah, this EU sympathist views do not represent the CranKy Ducklings, of course.
If you want,
Nah, it's
I have a
alright.
20-minute
Alright.
breakdown of the Cyril versus Reyna series last night, which I loved every moment. But
Yeah.
today, I might focus on the Solar versus Cyan game.
Alright, I think that'll be for the best. Wait, how did you watch that? Wasn't that at like 3, 4 a.m.?
I just watched it the day after.
Okay, fair enough.
And I searched into Cyril versus Reyna, and then I
Yeah.
just like skip anything I'm doing and just stay in bed for the first 2 hours, just making sure I look at everything, rewatch it, of course, over and over, because both
Yeah.
of them are beautiful human beings. And
You get like a good look at the player cams, be like, oh, look at those reactions. Like I can feel a little part of them.
mm,
But here we go. Looks like we do finally have our way into this game. And here, spawning in the top left-hand corner of the map for Onsyde Gaming, it is Solar.
and in the bottom right corner, we have for GGG Gaming, Cyan. Oh man, this is gonna be good.
Yeah. Excited for this one. So I definitely expect both players to be playing a pretty standard macro game coming into this one. This is definitely a map where you're pretty safe, especially with the 2 building wall off at the front here, as the observer is showing here. There's quite a narrow choke there to get into that natural.
Yep. And the way that affects, I guess, the early game, 12 pulls are much less likely. I'd be interested to see if Cyan maybe goes for a no scout, just because if people do 12 pull, you can have that 2-gate wall and just be in a really good spot.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like, is this a Nexus first that Cyan's going for?
Wow, yes it is. So bringing a bit of different strategies for this map, and yeah, into gate as well. I think this would be a very tough hole versus a 12 pull. I think that's why it's such a sick map to have chosen this strategy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Honestly, I haven't seen something like this in quite a while, honestly, especially in this matchup. This is, yeah, pretty surprising. I guess this is probably the matchup you'd be most likely to do it in, right?
Yeah, people kind of go back and forth because even when you get the Nexus first, you get that nice economy, but the tech does slow down that little bit. And Zerg can, of course, with like map hacks, with the insane vision of overlords, see it
You said it.
immediately. Yeah, with the insane vision of the overlords, they can kind of tweak all their spore timings, tweak everything, because you don't have to be as afraid of Stargates because they hit quite a bit later.
Yeah, okay. That definitely makes sense. So, yeah, so the Nexus first, while it's going to prop your economy forward, it is going to set your tech back by quite a lot. I guess that's kind of similar to Terran as well. You're not really looking to power up until you're saturated on 2 bases.
Yeah, definitely. There have been the people that have used this, I guess, the most in the past have been the Australias and the Husses of the world, who have their weird builds. Huss has even shown some 1-gas builds after this and just hitting so hard with some charged zealots. But it looks like this game is going to be very standard from Cyan, going from Nexus first into a Stargate.
Yeah, that's right. We are going to be seeing that Stargate. Meanwhile, Solar is going to be taking this triangle base here. So definitely looking to power up to macro. As we were talking about, that EU stylist kind of sit back style of Zerg. Meanwhile, Cyan just going to be sending out this Adept as well, just to get a little bit of scouting going on here.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll be interested to see what this first Stargate unit is. Do you think that maybe it might be a Void Raid to deny scouting? Maybe he feels a little bit less confident and wants to surprise Solar? Or do you think it's going to be that more solid style of Oracle?
Yeah, especially in this team league, just to remind everyone, this is of course best of 2. So I do like the idea of a Void Raid just to kind of disguise the builds amongst each other, but it does look like he's going to be going for an Oracle first in this one. But yeah, especially for these best of 2s, like I really like when the players come out with 2 builds that sort of play off each other. So they both look similar at the start, and maybe one of them goes into like a heavy all-in, and then the next one is more of a macro game.
Yeah, definitely. And wow, that's a very early third. I think we actually saw Skillis do a very similar build versus Lambo, in fact, in the ESL, obviously European Team League, which we love. And yeah, getting a 343rd, even earlier than the standard gate one, off 3 gate units, looking like a good
Yeah.
economic start.
Yeah, so definitely a little bit greedy if he didn't get the scouting, but looks like he's confirmed the third, confirmed that there is, of course, drones coming up at the third. So Solid just got to come across the map now with a fewer links and put on a little bit of pressure here. Just a bit of a poke to see what's going on over here.
Oh, and wow, jumping straight into a fleet beacon.
Oh, okay.
That's a very interesting build.
Yeah. Do you reckon? I've been seeing. I remember. Yeah. Okay. Second target. I remember Max Packs for a while and Party actually were playing around with this Tempest build, and like on a map like this with such big dead space behind the bases, I could imagine that coming out, or even just straight into carriers.
Yeah, both of those builds are very, very valid, and I like the choices of both of them. I think it can make the mid game a little bit easier for Protoss, and it can just catch people off guard. The thing is,
Yeah, I think easy is the key word there.
oh, maybe a little bias comes through once in a while. But
yeah,
it's really important here that Solar actually scattered that with his Overlord, so he's going to be very prepared. He even saw that it was building carriers, so he knows the exact build that is coming. He knows that he can drone up an insane amount, get a 4th, and build an insane amount of queens. I guess we'll see how he responds.
Yeah, absolutely. Solar all over the scouting in this one. It looks like actually taking a lot of damage on these oracles as well is Cyan. He really doesn't want to have to rebuild them, so he's going to have to be super careful with them now that they're bruised up. They're going to be the main source of map vision, the main source of scouting for Cyan for the rest of this game. And Solar has shown that he's really, really good with his queen move and trying to trap those oracles when they go too deep onto creep. So yeah, Cyan's going to have to be extremely careful with those for the moment. But just now, we are seeing carriers started up and a Twilight and a Forge as well.
And most importantly, a Nidus Worm from Solar. It looks like his reaction to this is seeing it, is he thinks they can kill him right here and now. He's making queens from every hatchery. Delayed that 4th, dropped a Nidus, and it's going down at the moment.
Yeah, so he's going to be able to get the queens in with this, right? So is this just Ling Queen, or has he got Hydras coming as well?
Looks like pure Ling Ravager Queen. I have seen some people add spores to this as well, which I always love, especially when it used to be Stargate Phoenix. Cyril literally did this build every single time he saw Stargate Phoenix and just killed every single Protoss.
Yeah, but that's right. Here we go. He is battering down this north door as we're seeing these emergency stasis wards being started up, but it looks like this front wall is not long for this ward. Losing that Cybercore is going to be a pretty big deal for Cyan as well.
And there's so much staying power here. The carriers, I just don't have the DPS to get through these Queen transfusers. And with the creep from the Nidus, he's got so many.
Yeah, we're really not seeing Cyan get up to that magic number. Solar has timed this push so well. We really want to see those carriers getting up towards maybe 6 or 7 carriers. That's when they really start to get the DPS going. But with all those interceptors already DPS down by the queens, this is going to be rough going. And it looks like Solar getting right on top of the shield battery overcharge. It goes down.
Exactly right, with no interceptors left, and they just come out one by one. I think he even has to move. Maybe the best thing to move it is to move him back, but even then, I feel like it feels so unholdable at the moment. This seems like a really tough spot for Cyan.
Yeah, Cyan just has to give up this natural, but what's left after the natural? It's straight into the main, straight to the third. Things are disastrous for him now, but he has to drop back to this main, see if he can defend these Stargates from the Roaches and the Queens of Solar.
Exactly right, and it's the Lings that are really getting so much damage in. They can kill all the pylons. They have to be respected so much, and just in any probe line, because he has so little ground units, no cannons, because no forge, it's a really tough defense.
Yeah, and down goes the natural. There are so many probes going down. 39 probes of Cyan gone down already, only 30 left, and man, is this a bit of copium staying in here? What do you think?
I think it's definitely very tough. Maybe his one hope is he cleans up this army and he just gets all his carriers in one big ball and he just moves them right at the Zerg. But I don't even know how you can do that with this many Lings on the map. You just don't have any map control. It's so hard as Cyan right now.
Yeah, you can just never move out because as soon as you turn your back, those Lings are straight back in the mineralized, taking out the probes. And this is slow going, really, with the Queens. He's just slowly chipping his way through the probes, chipping his way through the interceptors. And we did see Cyan actually getting up to that 6 carrier count. But that shield battery overcharge, once again, that is going to be going down. And he just has no way of protecting these probes.
And he has no economy. And with this amount of economy, he's struggling to even build interceptors at this point. He has 25 minerals in the bank right now. And then the Corruptors come in, and
Oh yeah, I think that is the end. We see Solo with his mouth wide open. I think he's wondering why is this game not over yet? And there we go, GG is called. And he's got some sick plushes in the background there. That is
yeah,
an impressive collection there.
yeah, that was a great response by Solo though. Him getting
Uh-huh.
the scout on the 2 Stargates that early, as the first carrier was being built, even before the second one was, seeing
Hmm.
the fleet baking, seeing everything, made him. He was, and then just being able to be so decisive as to just instantly drop that Nidus and just go for it. It was brilliant by Solo, I think, that game.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about going into this series. Solo's got this fantastic killer instinct where he just sees these little gaps where he knows exactly what to do. He knows how to punish. He knows how to get in there with an army and a timing. And he's done that brilliantly there. But we see it once again, a little bit more of a stylistic map. We're going to be having Stargaze as Cyan's map pick. So I do think this is a map that you're going to be a lot more comfortable on as the Protoss, especially getting that pocket third. Much easier to set up on those 3, 4, even 5 bases, get yourself into a really nice, comfortable spot. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see Cyan maybe even going for something similar here.
Yeah, definitely. We even sorry, we even saw Reyna's Protoss.
Oh, okay.
So often playing Stargaze in a very similar way.
Mhm.
Going for that easy to take third.
Yeah.
In this case, it was clear that there was 2 big weaknesses in this game. We had the natural and the third. But
Mhm.
with Stargazers itself, with the in-base third, you've only got 1 spot to attack, so you can put all your shield barriers and cannons there. So I really
Yeah.
like mass air plays on this map especially. So I'd be excited to see something like that again, honestly.
Yeah, you're not going to have that same spot between the natural and the third, right, where he kind of
Hmm.
set up with the creep and he was cutting off the 2 bases from each other. I think on this map, we have seen Raynor a lot going for, I think, Phoenix openers, if I remember properly. But this is also a map where Nidus can be really annoying. There's a lot of little dark spots in the back of your bases where Niduses can pop up. You got to be so careful that you got full map vision as Cyan here.
Yeah, definitely. And it's been a favorite of so many people over time. Dark especially
Hmm.
loves his Queenling Nidus, especially on this map. So many
Hmm.
people, everyone loves it. So definitely something that should be on the mind of Cyan.
Do you love it, Chappy? Do you love a little bit of a cheeky Nidus?
Ah, from time to time, when they go all the flying units and all my units are lings and roaches and I can't shoot up, I'm like, I just want all my queens in his base. It's my right. So yes, of course.
Chappy, aren't Queens a macro unit? What are they doing in your opponent's base? That doesn't sound like a macro unit.
Well, we'll talk about it in one moment. But in the top left-hand corner, we have Solar.
And spawning here in the top right-hand corner for Good Game Gaming GGG, this is Cyan.
Yes, the Queen is definitely a versatile unit, as we saw that game, of course. Really being able to pop it out in someone's face and having so many transfusers just means that they have so much staying power. So of course they're not too bad on the aggressive.
Yeah, those cheeky Zergs just love popping it out in people's faces. I think it's a bit disrespectful myself. But meanwhile, Cyan here, we do see him. It looks like once again going to be going for that Nexus first. So yeah, it looks like something he did have specially prepared for this series, and I reckon I like it a bit more on this map as well.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to ask, what do you think? Do you think this is prep specific to Solar, or this is just Cyan's way of kind of twisting and molding builds for his own playstyle?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people get these pet builds and they really want to make them work, and it's just something that they've been spamming on ladder. So you have that extra confidence as well. Like maybe he's been winning a lot of ladder games with this, and he like feels like he can try it out in a bit more of a high stakes game and maybe catch Solar a little bit off guard. I mean, like as a player that's not necessarily the favorite, I don't mind that at all. Going for something a little bit different, trying to catch your opponent off guard. But it looks like Solo was pretty comfortable in that last game.
Yeah, definitely. Without the adept pressure, without the oracle, even though he made oracles, it felt like they didn't really do much. It seems like Solo does have a good handle on it, but there is that extra economy that Cyan has that you just don't notice in the moment in reality. So I'm actually curious how it probably plays out to a very similar state, I'd be thinking, as Gatepost.
Yeah, I mean, he did manage to pump out a lot of those carriers once he actually got them going. It felt like if Solar hadn't attacked in that one 30 seconds to a minute where he just had 2 carriers, he might have been in a lot of trouble actually if Cyan was able to get up to that 6-7 carrier count. Considering how like slow those queens are to get that damage out, if he had already gotten to that point, I could see that being pretty scary for him.
Yeah, certainly.
You know what these talented Protoss players are like. I know it's tough for you, Zergs, on the ladder. You're just trying to get by, trying to survive, and then you just get A-moved by 20 carriers, even though the whole game feels like it's been going great.
It is definitely yeah. Yeah. I'm sure everyone has felt that as a Zerg player, as every race really. Like carriers are that big, like even in team games especially, that big unit that you get 20 of them, and you just send them across the map. This beautiful golden armada, and yeah, it's definitely tricky to deal with. And I was very happy with Solar's very decisive action last game.
Yeah, there's always this very scary moment, especially for Zerg going up against carriers, where if you take a little bit of a bad fight, even one time, you can never quite catch up again once the carriers start getting across the map, and it can just get away from you. Kind of like mech as well. Like if you throw away a bit too much against mech all at the same time, they can just go across the map and you're in a lot of trouble. But it looks like Cyan, yeah, once again, going to be going for this very early third, and I don't mind this. He didn't exactly get punished for the third timing in that last game.
Yeah, I really like that. It's even more is he mining the 4th as well? Am I saying that right? He's already mining out the 4th. Does that mean he wants to take the 4th soon, or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I guess he's looking to take a really quick 4th as well. And I like that he's gone for the Void Raid this time as well. That's a pretty nice adjustment. I thought that would have been good last time, and it means that all of these annoying dark spots for the Niduses are not going to be quite as available without these pesky overlords just sitting in the corners here.
Yeah, definitely. Just being able to clear it all out, at least require an overseer if he's to do a similar build as last game, and then even be able to patrol it in that dead space at the top. It really does shut out a lot of these opportunities that Solar could have with a cheeky Nidus.
Yeah, but you're right. He's actually gone for an extremely fast 4th, and honestly, to me, this feels really greedy. What do you think?
You know, 2-3 years ago, people would be taking their 3rd at this time.
Yeah.
In 10 seconds, he's taking a 4th right now, before any tech, before the Twilight, before anything. This is as greedy as he can get. I'm blown away.
Yeah, definitely trying to find a little bit of a gap here. And honestly, I don't think Solar's caught onto this just yet. Looks like he's going for a bit of overlord speed as well. So he realizes that it is really important for him to get some scouting going on here. Meanwhile, we are going to be seeing Cyan get some oracles into this main base. But Solar's been so good with the queens, just shooing them away at every angle.
Yeah, definitely. It's felt like Cyan hasn't been able to scout out as much, but he won't be punished for this game. But he's powering up so much. So many gates, 2 forges as well, 4 bases, blink. Coming into the mid game, it feels like he's in this powerhouse spot.
Yeah, it does feel like he's gotten away with this so far, with those double forges as well, getting those double upgrades. If he can survive up until he gets until he gets that 1-1, he's going to be in a very strong spot. And actually getting in here to this mineral line before that spore could get up, a little bit of unfortunate aiming with those with the oracles there, but 5 drones going down. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd be curious to see if Solar. I guess there's 2 kind of trains of thought as well. There's one where you kind of sit on that 66 drone and just kind of power through with roaches, which he is kind of set up to do this game, or whether he goes to that higher drone count, kind of a bit more defensive, playing out. And look, he's going for a very fast hydrogen and infestation pit. I wonder if there's going for fast lurkers.
Yeah, interesting. That could be a really good way to just siege down the bases of Cyan. Because Cyan, he's still, as much as he's powered up and gotten away with a lot, he still doesn't have the biggest army right now. Although, to be honest, Solar doesn't really either. So it looks like Cyan just going to be poking out a little bit with these Stalkers, powering up on that 1-1, getting his extra gateways as well. But Solar ducking in with this Overseer. He's done such a good job just getting constant scouting here. And he's going to see those double forges, going to see the Chronos on those as well. So he should have some idea of what's going on here.
I wonder what's going through Solar's mind at the moment. Does he feel like at this point, it can be uncertain. He doesn't know that this was a 4-minute 34th base. He doesn't know it was that early. And I feel like Solar has been playing quite safe this whole time. And it feels like Cyan's definitely gotten away with it.
Maybe he's singing a few songs in his head, Chappy. Just a few, like, champion mindsets, getting those little bops going.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like our boy Rayner, we've seen that it's done so well for him in the past as well. Like just pumping himself
Uh,
up. I think it's a great strategy and one that many people
yeah.
should implement.
Raynor is, of course, very famous for, singing along, but it looks like we are having a little bit of an attack being set up by Solar here. This is something that we've been seeing a lot from this, the hero style, quote unquote, this Oracle Stalker hit squad, where the Oracles can kind of defend those Stalkers from the Lings if need be. But it looks like, oh, a nice stasis trap there, going to be taking out quite a few of these Roaches.
I really like that play. This is the weak part of Solar's play. He's so close to lurkers. He's getting all the upgrades up. It's all happening, and just getting damaged right here and now, from a really cool angle. Especially with that stasis ward on the ramp. Imagine it just stops 3 there, and it's like an impenetrable force field.
Yeah,
I
looking
like
to
that
force
play.
it off that ramp, but it looks like Solar is going to be able to push this back. He's actually getting a lot done here with this creep spread, giving him a lot of time to respond to these attacks of Cyan. So Cyan just going to be using those revelations wherever he can just to start clearing up this creep. Meanwhile, for Solar, we do see he is getting those lurker upgrades. He does have 6 lurkers on the way as well, so he's starting to get towards that army that he is looking for.
Oh,
But
and he
go
spotted the
ahead.
lurkers. I wonder if he can jump on them. No, there's just so much Roach Hydra at the moment. But now he knows, and I want to see what Cyan's reaction to this is. Hero sometimes drops 2 to 3 robos so he can mass immortals. Other people go straight to Stargate. I'm interested to, or even some people just keep multi-pronging forever and ever to try and beat the lurkers because they are so good versus this gateway-based army.
Yeah, we are seeing he's got quite a lot of oracles here, so he does have some options to split up his army a little bit if he does want to. We see that one robo being started up, but just the one robo for now. Meanwhile, Solar is starting to push back this army of Cyan. It's going to be really important for Cyan that he doesn't lose too many of these Stalkers because he really doesn't want to rebuild them. I think he does want to be looking to start to get into those charge lots, maybe some Archons as well. We do see a Dark Shrine going down.
And I really love this. Cyan going up to 98 probes right now. Really, that Reyna style that he popularized, I guess. And I'm really excited to see. It seems like he wants to take that very high tempo approach.
Should have realized getting you on here casting, we were going to be hearing a lot of praise of Raynor.
Oh no.
Meanwhile, yeah, nice focus fire there from Solar. Does look like Solar has been a little bit of a faster player out of the two for a while here, but for Cyan, we are seeing that second robo going down. We are seeing the robo bay as well, so he will have a transition to disruptors as he sees fit, but he actually sniped a lot of lurkers there. This would be so much more of a scary push if we were seeing, like 13, 14 lurkers here. As it is, still a pretty tough position to break here for the Protoss.
And I was really... I guess actually the fight is happening now. The Zealots are coming from the right-hand side. There's just a bit too much Zerg, it feels like, and Cyan's supply just plummets.
Yeah, no support for those Zealots at all. They are not able to get on top of the Lurkers. The Lurkers just mince through them, and he doesn't have any Immortals, any Archons, any of those meaty units to soak up the hits of the Lurkers, and I just don't think he's going to be able to do too much about these Lurkers. We are seeing the Stalkers starting to pick off a few of these units. We see the DT swiping away as well, but as soon as Solar regroups, gets a bit of vision over here, those DTs are not long for this world.
Those DTs have given him a lot of time and have sniped a surprising amount of lurkers. This was very, very nice from Cyan. Very good.
Yeah, these DTs are actually doing work here. Solar, a little bit slow to get some vision over here. We do see that Overseer finally coming along, but that is going to give Cyan enough time to get some disruptors out. We do see this base is going to be committed to over here, but quite a few less lurkers than we had before.
Yeah, and I wonder right now if Cyan just has to give up this base. He needs those disruptors right now. That is the answer to this army, and he needs them ASAP. So I wonder if he just has to chill, sit on the high ground, and just wait it out for a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Cyan, he's been on 5 bases for so long, and he's still going to be on 5 bases with that bottom base down. So as long as he doesn't lose this natural, it's going to be good for him. But we do see a big disruptor shot coming out. Very nice connections there.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, but it's just so much Zerg, isn't it? But that, another nice connection.
Huge connection there. All the units stacking up on top of the lurkers, and actually that's a lot of Hydras that have gone down for Solar, but we do see that spine range kicking in now, and that is so impactful in these fights.
One thing we saw was just a minute ago, Cyan was down to 120 supply. This economy really lets him remax much faster than I thought he would be. He really still is in this.
definitely on a pretty high gate count here. We are seeing these disruptors numbers starting to get up. He is slowly going to be able to work his way through the lurkers. I didn't quite get eyes on the unit, but it does look like he doesn't have those oracles anymore. So he's going to be relying on these observers for vision, but it looks like he's finally going to be cleaning this one up.
That is so, so important. Lurkers in that position are so scary. All reinforcements going there, and the game feels like it's evened out. The supplies evened out. The tech, he has so many disruptors now. I wonder if Solar moves away from lurkers because there's so many disruptors, but no, instead it seems like he's getting Vipers, and that's his way of dealing with it.
Yeah, he's doubling down on these lurkers. If he can get those Vipers out just for those Yoinks, he can start pulling those disruptors into those lurker fields, decimating those. But looks like Cyan, he's going to be taking advantage of this little economic lead that he has to just throw these constant waves of zealots at his opponents, and that's going to keep Solar really busy. Might even have to dedicate some of those lurkers to defense here.
Yeah, definitely. And this has given him a lot of space. He's being able to get up that 6th base, Cyan is. And I'm pretty happy about that.
Hey, we're seeing him go up to 107 workers. That was an insane hold by Cyan, but he's going to have to do a lot more of that because he is not going to have the biggest army, especially with a few disruptors in there.
Yeah, definitely. But the upgrades, the economy, it's one of those styles that it's so tempo-based. If you're on the other side of the map, it is so insanely strong. But Solar keeps getting his lurkers across the map. The one thing that's so important from Cyan here is he needs to stop these lurkers in their track a little bit. Just meet them out on the map, slow them down, and Solar's really being able to just pounce across the map, buying space and getting the lurkers into a base each and every single time.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And as you were saying that, we do see those lurkers coming in. Very nice Yoinks there coming out as well. That's going to be taking out a lot of the disruptors. Some pretty good Novas coming out from Cyan as well, but that does reset that disruptor count a little bit, almost halving it. And we're going to see that base being going down as well. Solar as well, leaving that lurker behind for defense there. Very nice anticipation. We're going to be seeing that Cybercore go down once again. So for Cyan, it's going to be a little bit hard for him to reinforce his army. And Solar, he's happy with the damage he got. He's just going to back off for now, send this annoying little Ling run by through as well.
Yeah, definitely. Getting that base on top of even what felt like a good trade, killing a few disruptors. I think Solar should be really happy with that fight.
Yeah, Solar's found himself a nice tempo and nice rhythm in this game, getting that gold base as well down the bottom there, and doing a really good job of just defending these Zealot run-bys. Cyan really hasn't been able to get any momentum on the map with the Zealot run-bys, and once again, as you were saying, these lurkers getting themselves into some very difficult positions. Even if Cyan is able to clear them out eventually, it's costing him a lot every time he does it.
It truly is. I'm so glad that he added High Templars this time. He just needs the most key thing is just as he did there, feedbacking the Vipers. So important. Saving your insanely costly disruptors, which are what are keeping you alive in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see that he did fit back. There's only the 2 Vipers there, so he's going to be able to save these disruptors. But Solar, he's doing such a good job of just spreading each of these. Wow, look at this. Nearly every lurker spread out from each other, making it so hard to be cleared out by the disruptors. And these changelings are being really annoying as well.
Yeah, that was a very cool wall by the just using the gateways to morph in a bunch of zealots, just to treat them as a wall, protecting his very, very valuable disruptors.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, we do see, once again, a little run by down to the bottom left, but it looks like Solar is all over this angle of attack. He is going to be able to clean that up eventually, actually losing quite a few Hydras to that, but does take it out in the end. Meanwhile, for Cyan, trying to clear out this lurker field, but it is so difficult for him, and almost losing those High Templars as well.
Which is so important. He needs them alive. It's so funny. This army looks like a PvT army. It's pure Disruptor, High Templar, and like a few Stalkers. Like, there's very little meat. So if the Zerg maybe gets a surround or gets on top of this army, I'm very, very scared for Cyan. But yeah, he's holding them off well.
Yeah, Solar going back into some more basic units, going to those Hydras and those Lings, but it's so hard to maneuver the Hydras without creep, and we are seeing a lot of them taking some massive balls here, but it does look like he's going to be diving in here with the Lurkers. Ooh, big Novas.
Definitely, and without that meat shield, I guess, the Lurkers can just get right on top of those disruptors. But he's had very good disruptor detention. As I say so, he loses 2 points. But
yeah, those Lings are just being so annoying for the disruptors. Oh, and these disruptors, they are starting to wander forward into the Lurkers. He will eventually clean this out, but he has been completely reset on the disruptor count.
Yeah, and that was really what was keeping him alive. And now Lings are flooding in and just wrecking havoc, and it's just so hard to deal with from Cyan's point of view.
Yeah, in a game where Cyan has been so rich the whole way through, he's starting to get starved out now by Solar. Solar has just been relentless with its attack, and now even using some changelings to try to block up that little gap between the gateways there. And he's just going to keep on attacking with the Hydras and the Roaches, using that gold base to his advantage as well, just to help him reinforce. And it does look like Solar's starting to get the best of this game.
Yeah, and just from a macro point of view, Solar getting the gold base, it's going to be so long before Cyan, even if he holds, can get back out on the map. And Solar's just going to eke that 2 base advantage by having the gold base, which mines out much faster than normal.
Yeah, and I love the way Solar is doing this, just creeping forward one lurker at a time, making sure that they're all evenly spaced out from each other, and he's just putting all this damage onto this base to stress out Cyan. And finally that base actually going down to the Nova, I believe. And Solar is going to be able to jump on top of this army once again.
Yeah, definitely. What you're saying about the spacing of the lurkers, I think that's been so important in this game. Solar has spaced them out very evenly, like 1 disruptor shot apart so often. It's just really cool to see.
Yeah, we see 33 probes going down that bottom right base. Is not long for this world, that one lurker. Cyan just doesn't have the attention to spare to go and deal with that. And Solar, he can just set and forget that one. Meanwhile, we're going to see a pretty big Nova here taking out a lot of those Hydras, but Solar, he's able to take these bad trades. He really is the one in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, definitely. And it feels like it's so close to death here. Solar needs to play slow. Just make sure that he doesn't die to the disruptors, but these Vipers are going to come in, and there's no answers to them.
Yeah, it seems like this is Cyan's death throws. We have been seeing this 10-minute death animation sort of happening. He really has been doing such a good job of holding on, but without those extra bases, I really just don't see any way that he's going to be able to replenish this army once he does start to lose these units. And he's taking so many shots here from the Lurkers. Solar, he realizes he doesn't really have to kill him right now. He can just back off. He doesn't have to force this. He's in such a good position here.
Yeah, definitely. When he looks down and there's no 5th, there's nothing here. And we see Cyan realize that, oh, now I have to move out. This is not the spot you want to be in as Cyan. Yeah,
this army, it was looking very good defensively, but now that it's out on the map, it's looking very naked, very bare, kind of a little bit too small to be able to get anything done. But as you were saying, he kind of has to start getting a bit of map presence going on. And we see a few Zealots split off to the top as well. But meanwhile for Solar, just as many Lings split off to the bottom. And this is going to be very hard for him to deal with, especially with Broodlords coming out now.
And that's so smart by Solar. The thing is, Cyan is putting all his resources into defending this. A simple Broodlord switch, which Cyan's army just does not deal with, is going to be so scary.
Yeah, it's been very impressive by Solar. Such a technical game to break Cyan here on the high base count of Cyan. And Cyan, at one point in this game, actually was on 107 probes. We have to remember, he was in such a good spot, but Solar really knew the way to start chipping away at him, to start breaking him down here. And I think these Broodlords are going to be starting to spell the beginning of the end. Cyan just has to go for it now.
Yeah, and when we say go for it, it's get 1 Archon under 6 Broodlords. Like, it's the Zealots are fighting Broodlings at the moment. This feels very much like a death animation at the moment.
Yeah, this is a really rough spot for Cyan. Looks like he's just taking it in and finally going to be calling GG. And Solar with the 2-0 victory, but not without a little bit of trouble, I have to say.
Those were good games, and I really liked the build order choices from Cyan. Especially that second game, he really took every risk to get an insane economy. Getting to 110 probes at some points, a 4-minute 30, a very early 4th. He set himself up for a great spot, and he had great tactics, but unfortunately Solar is just that extra level above, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It did seem like he was a bit of a cut above because Cyan, he got himself in such a good spot that game. That was really good preparation, and we could see with his map pick of Stargazers, he really did have something special prepared for that map. And definitely have to give props to him for bringing his A game to this team league, trying to take out one of the big guns in Solar, but just isn't quite able to get it done. So we do go on to this next set. It's going to be a bit of a classic Taiwanese matchup here, actually. This is one that we've seen quite a few times recently.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see how this one goes. Nice obviously has been the stronger of the two in the scene, has been posting the most results, but definitely an exciting match.
Yeah, absolutely. Rex, another player that maybe you'll have to tell me if I'm right about this, but I feel like he's one of those more kind of classical Zergs as well, where he's happy to play a very defensive game on 3 or 4 bases, just kind of sit back and be the one taking the brunt of the forces, and then going for a strong timing a little bit later on, a bit more of that European Zerg style, maybe slightly lower drone count.
Yeah. I haven't seen as much of Rex as maybe I'd like.
Uh-huh.
I've seen he's got some very cheeky builds that he can put in every while or so, but he also has that strong macro play. Obviously, he, as his Protoss, beat Dark Zerg, which is a notable achievement. And
Did he?
yeah, he did. Yeah,
That's
it was
crazy.
sick. Yeah, sick ladder game. God, I love it. In terms of the, looking at Nice's, oh, you go.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah. We got Nice's little hexagon here. Does look like they rate him quite a little bit higher. I do remember Rex had some strong defense there, but Nice looking like he takes the edge in the offense, macro, and mindset. I wonder how they work out the mindset of the players. Maybe they have like a psychological quiz that they ask them before the games.
That would be quite good. Like, I feel like people like Creator, you just put them down at 1 or something. But
people like Creator, people like Chappy, put Chappy in the dumps with the number 1, the 1 mindset.
No. His mindset is great. It's a champion mindset. It's probably a 10.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to see that. Like, do they just like spam them questions beforehand, just like really annoy them a lot and just see how they respond? Maybe that's a good way of working out the mindset of these players.
They just like really piss them off, and if they get mad, it's like, ooh, bad mindset.
Maybe a count of all the no GGs over time. Maybe that's.
Yeah, they just snipe them on barcodes and like see what they respond like. Maybe BM them a little bit, see if they BM back, you know.
Exactly. Maybe jump into Rex's stream right afterwards and type some words after they win. I wonder if that's a way that they can really gauge the mindset of these players.
Anyway, it does look like we are going to be having Data C as the first map. So another map that's a little bit more geared towards a safer macro style. This is about where I have to say, from the ZVPs that I've watched, I think it can be really good for the Protoss in terms of you have these really defensible high grounds over your bases where you can block them off with gateways, and it's just really hard to push up into storms, disruptors, all that sort of thing.
Definitely agree. And I feel like when we look at this map especially, it's the 4 bases for Protoss are quite achievable. You can completely wall off both sides quite easily. It's that 5th base that gets very hard. So it feels like we've actually seen some different styles on this map. We've seen more the same early 4 bases, but maybe less aggression. Maybe going faster storm, faster 8 gas, and maybe into carriers. Because those 4 bases are quite safe, you can use that to tech up without as much defense.
Yeah, for sure. I think I remember actually, might have been a StarCraft game where I saw, I think it was StarCraft versus Ryan, where he was rolling up into that 3rd base, that triangle base, up the high ground with all these banelings, and the storms absolutely decimated the banelings. It looks like such a rough spot to attack into.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it. And the gateways just fit so nicely. On other maps, you can kind of wall off areas, but this map, you can place 1 pylon at the 3rd, and it can cover so much. You can cover both the ramps. And then on the 4th, you can completely wall off that area. If you want, you could literally just sit there in your base and not leave your base. It's great. It's very cool.
Rex having, Rex, it looks like they've given him pretty decent mindset, but if we do see him camping up, nice camping up that is, that much, maybe we have Rex having his little Artosis moment, having his, they just sit there.
Okay, I've only just started recently watching some Artosis clips, so maybe you can answer this for me. Yeah, I love it so much, obviously.
It's incredible.
But every time I see his play, it feels like he's the one just sitting there. Like, every time it's versus Protoss. It's so mech-based. Is that correct?
Yeah. Like, his whole... I remember one of the biggest memes was his whole chat would just be screaming at him to take a 3rd, because he'd be like 10, 11 minutes into the game just on 2 bases, sitting there on 2 bases, and he's like, I can't take another base, I can't do it. They're just like, you're the problem.
Yeah. He is the man that just sits there, and that would definitely hurt my mindset, I guess, playing versus that player as well, you know, so...
Yeah, well, I'm glad to see you getting into those Artosis clips. That'll definitely help you improve your mindset as well, I'm sure.
Well, definitely. I feel like when you see the pitfalls that other people go through, you
Yeah,
can truly evaluate yourself.
that is true.
So
So I
yeah,
really enjoyed when you did your Terran challenge. I feel like I learned a lot.
thank you. I felt like I learned a lot too. Mech is busted, etc., etc. And we're getting into this game. And in the bottom left-hand corner for Onsyde Gaming, we have Rex.
And in the top right hand corner of the map for Good Game Gaming, GGG, it is Nice. I believe Nice actually the current Taiwanese regional champion.
Yeah, he's definitely been posting some impressive results. It felt like it in the past. It's always been between Haas and Nice, really, for those top two. But I feel like Nice has kind of been pulling away and showing himself as, at least in my opinion, probably the stronger of the two at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice has shown that he's not just a player that has certain tricks that he has to rely on, but he's a player that has some very, very strong macro plays as well. And he's really like, I feel like he's really shored up his play in the last few years and finds himself quite a strong contender, even internationally.
Which is great to see. And it's so, I love watching those games, especially like the Haas, the Nice, the But Always, because the Haas and But Always are so insanely cheesy. It is so hard to play versus these players. But Nice has just shored up his macro play such that he can hit a few timings if he wants, but in general, he's the one that's defending and able to just see all the bullshit that they're sending at him and just like swat it away. Not with
Yeah.
ease. It's very hard, but yeah.
He's a good boy. That's what you're trying to say. He's a good,
He's a good
Protoss,
boy.
one of the
He's a
good ones.
boy. Yes.
Meanwhile, we just see with this probe just confirming that third as well. I think you can probably just see that from there. I don't know why he would be poking over there if he couldn't. And he's just going to be keeping an eye on these drones coming out, this pull timing as well, checking if Rex is going to be pulling off gas as well and just being really annoying with this probe.
And also checking at the right time. I remember we saw Rogue against Creator, where the same thing happened, but it's so important just to check at the end as well. Make sure that they're not cancelling that third hatch and just dropping a proxy hatch at your natural, and you see it like 30 seconds later and you start crying. So good.
Yeah.
Good job by Nice.
We're actually having a few people point out in the chat as well. If you have a look in Rex's camera, those plushes look kind of familiar. I feel like we saw them in the last game. I think he might actually be at Solar's house.
Oh, wow.
And they are on the same team, and I know Rex is in Korea at the moment, so it's possible.
Yeah, that'd be sick to see. Just like maybe in between the games as well, just being able to talk about strategy between the two, face to face. I think that's really nice for Rex.
Yeah, if that is the case, that'd be really cool. Cool to see this kind of like team camaraderie. That's something that's really nice about the team leagues. Is StarCraft? It's a bit of a lonely game, bit of a 1v1. Kind of game where you don't have a lot of social interaction with the other players. And a team sometimes can just be a collection of sponsors. So it's really nice to see the players actually, working together for this common goal.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know much about Rex's trip in Korea? I know he's been there for a bit, right? He tried out for GSL. Unfortunately, wasn't able to make it.
I know he was in the team house for a while. I think Huss as well went to the team house with the foreigner team house with, Scarlet, Australia. I know. I think Australia is still there at the moment. We'll actually be seeing him later on tonight going up against the CranKy Ducklings. But meanwhile, let's have a look at what's going on in this game. We actually see quite an early Dark Shrine coming out here.
Yeah, definitely. Going for a Dark Shrine build. Let's see how it goes. It often looks a lot like Glaive's builds, so Rex needs to be either on top of his scouting or just make sure that he's prepared for these kind of builds.
Yeah, Rex has been poking and prodding with those links, so he's very aware that there is no early third. He should be able to see this Prism coming out at some stage as well, so looks like might just be maybe that classic DT drop build coming out from Nice. I do believe he's got those 4 gateways, so could be a bit of a DT attack going into that Archon drop as well. But a bit of an old school build.
Yeah, definitely pretty scary here. He hasn't started Spores. I don't know which bases he started Spores in.
Okay.
I saw there wasn't one at the third, but I'd be curious to see if there's one in the main.
Yeah, we do have that spot in the main. We see that lair being started up right away, and these Lings are just going to get picked away at. Nice. He doesn't have to kill him with this DT. It's not like a fully committed cheese or something like that. He can just be annoying with these, start dropping them in the bases. Does look like that Spore did get up at the third, so he is going to be able to deflect this for now, but Nice just being really annoying, seeing if he can pick off some queens, pick off some Lings here, and if he doesn't find any damage with these DTs, he can always just morph them into Archons.
And I love how he's playing it too. The more modern defense of DTs at the moment is you just get spores everywhere and really delay that lair. And we see Nice just abusing that. Throwing 3 DTs on the ramp. So if there's any transferring drones, if there's anything, a Ling's going down, they'll all get caught on the way. Just taking just seeing in those dark spots of the vision. I really like that.
I love this as well, morphing in this Archons one at a time so they can't just get completely surrounded. Rex is going to recognize that he has to get out of there, so he's going to send these Lings across to try to deny this third, but it looks like Nice has some nice SimCity here. Oh, it's so hard not to say Nice. These units tucked away here, and these Archons are going to start to pick away at stuff on the other side of the map, so Rex really hasn't been able to get too much done, but it has been a nice defense as well. Hasn't really taken too much damage himself. Yeah, I know.
It happens.
I can't help.
I know. Yeah, Rex. It felt like Rex defended that very, very well. Kind of has a nice. Oh no, they're sitting at a very good spot here. No fourth at the moment coming down, but hitting at that 66 drone mark that you really want to be at versus this build.
Yeah, interestingly, we are seeing him actually going into Aspire and Roach Speed at the same time. So is this going to be for Mutas?
I think so, and I love Mutas versus this. The reason why is because there's no Stargate. They can't build a few Phoenixes. The Warp Prism just sits there all game, so annoying because you've got these 2 Archons, and just having even 5 or 6 Mutas is so nice versus it. In fact, I think the evolution of this DT drop build has been people normally feel like they have to attack on 3 bases because otherwise Mutas are so scary versus it.
I was about to say it's cool having a Zerg perspective on here to hear what a Zerg like feels like going up against these builds, to hear the pain in your voice, but then I'm like, wait a minute, Light's a Zerg as well. Why don't I think of him as a Zerg?
Yeah, why don't you?
It's just not a threat to me, not like you, Chappy.
Yeah, he just needs control groups. That's all I've been telling him. Control groups, please. Not that patch stuff.
Meanwhile, do you see a little bit of an attack coming in here from Nice? Has that energy built up on these sentries, so he's going to be able to be really annoying with this. But Rex, he's going straight across to the map with these Mutas. He's going to get a bit of damage of his own. And I was going to say this before with the Mutas, they can be really annoying in terms of keeping the Archons at home, but actually they're going to take out the Prism and the Immortal. So this really takes a lot of the sting out of the push for Nice.
That is so important. This was a scary push. Rex felt like he had to give up the 4th, and he was massing Road Ravager and even Spines behind. He was very scared of this, but sniping that Warp Prism, it completely takes out all the tempo of this push.
Yeah, a lot of that power of the push gone. Meanwhile, he is going to be taking out a few of these Mutas. Rex just leaving them a little bit unattended for a moment there. He's going to be able to duck into the main, but this is going to be keeping all of those Archons at home. Nice, he's going to have to set up with a bit more of a defensive posture, and we see Rex, he's really pulling ahead on supply here.
Wow, and Rex he just retook the 4th, but he feels like he has to make something happen, but he's massing Mutas, and I really like that decision right now. Without the Stargates, it feels like that mass Muta ball can just outscale Stalkers at some point, so I'm really happy to see Rex do this.
Yeah, this is a really interesting play, and I feel like for Nice, it's going to be so hard for him to take a 4th with this massive Muta ball, because as much as he can sit back and he can defend behind shield batteries with cannons with his units tucked away into corners and stuff like that, I don't know how you're ever going to take a 4th when Rex has this much map control, this much danger out on the map, but we do see he's going to be sneaking out a Prism, sneaking out a few hallucinations as well, just to get a little bit of a scout of what's going on the other side of the map, and he will be able to see that the army is not home right now.
That is so nice too. Imagine the Warp Prism was seen on the other side of the map. The Mutas catch it and they go along their way. At the moment, it creates a more awkward situation. So that was a really good move by Nice, getting that Warp Prism there.
That is so nice. It's kind of like so Raven, you know? So Raven.
Yeah. It's so Rexy,
so nice.
You know?
Yeah,
so
that's
sexy.
so Rexy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I mean, what we do see it, Nice, he's gearing up to take that 4th. We've got a pretty big army sitting out there, poised and ready, but for Nice, we see that he's getting those disruptors, and he is, in fact, going to be going into that 2 Stargate Phoenix. Pretty interesting as well that he sends out some hallucinated Phoenix just to poke and be annoying before he goes into actual Phoenix. I don't know if that's part of the mind games, though.
Yeah. Hopefully it's just maybe the scouting, seeing if he's got that forward base saturation, checking the gases and everything. And Nice takes a fourth, and Rex just immediately pounces.
Yeah, this is time to go for Rex. He's going to be jumping straight in here with these mutas, and by using these mutas, he's going to be pulling a lot of the army out of Nice out of position. But Nice, meanwhile, having a bit of a counter attack with those zealots in the main, and that is going to pull a lot of the units of Rex back home. Everything going down right now.
It was great having Nice set that up ahead of time. I felt like Rex had a chance there to kill the fourth, but he just walked away. The mutas created so much space, but he wasn't able to pounce on that moment.
Yeah, it looks like Rex was very overwhelmed by this attack in the main. He really didn't want to give up this main. Doesn't want to give up that lair as well. So he did have to send back a lot of these roaches. But these zealots, they're doing so much work for Nice. We see Rex even starting a lair in his natural as well, preempting that he's going to be losing that main. And this has taken everything back home. There's some really good force fields on the fourth, cutting off a lot of that army of Rex. And suddenly, Nice is setting up an attack of his own across the map.
Yeah, and you can see how much pressure Rex is on right there. It felt like he had an army and he just moved it straight across the map. This Zealot warp in, everything that Nice is doing right now has put so much pressure on Rex. And I think Nice has played this last 2 minutes exceptionally well.
Yeah, he's done that brilliantly, really taking advantage of that chaos, having those preset moves with the Zealots just to start to get a little bit of momentum in his favor. But we do see Rex, he's got a pretty sizable force here as well. He's going to have to be really careful not to eat big disruptor shots, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh. And this has been absolutely decimated. We see those immortals, they are chunking through these roaches, and the supply for Rex, it is plummeting, but he's still being pretty annoying with these mutas. Nice has to be very careful with the micro on those Phoenix so that he doesn't lose those to the mutas.
Yeah, definitely. And what I want to see Rex, I feel like he's doing it at the moment, but just mass Ravagers, mass Spines, somehow. Maybe these mutas can be our comeback mechanism, but it's definitely very tough right now for Rex.
Yeah, the mutas, they are going to be really annoying here. They're actually going to take out those pylons, depowering the Stargates, but Nice, he's just going to be pushing straight through. He has so many Stalkers, he has so many Archons. He's putting on a lot of pressure, and meanwhile defending very nicely back at home. This is some great multitask coming out from Nice.
Yeah, definitely. And look at that bank from Rex at the moment. He just doesn't know what to spend it on. Oh no, he's waiting to mass mutas. That's actually really cool, killing the pylons and everything. Ooh. And then building 16 mutas at once. Maybe this is his way back into the game. I really like this.
Yeah, we see 16 meters going down. That is starting to get up into that number where he can start to overpower the Archons as well. Not sure if he's going to be able to take on that Stalker Force head on, but as long as he has enough roaches back at home just to deal with that, he's going to be such a nuisance. And he actually takes down the fourth as well. So Nice finding himself in such a awkward position here, having to reestablish that fourth while also needing to get a bit of his own pressure across the map.
This is such a low econ awkward game, but I really like that Nice is going into Phoenix range. He killed the Spire. He has no reason to think there should be more mutas. That's what's going through Rex's mind right now. But he's starting out, he's being as safe as possible. He noticed that Rex was focusing so much on sniping that pylon that maybe there's something, this muta switch that's coming.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Rex. Maybe telegraphing what his plans are. Maybe even Nice just kind of thinking through the game. Something really important to do when you're playing StarCraft is be like, when you're in such a good position, is to think, what can kill me here? Like, what could go wrong? What's the last thing left that they could do that could kill me? And wow, look at this positioning by Nice. He's taking down so many of these mutas.
And a couple of Archon shots as well getting on it. The Phoenix is just slowly chipping him down. God, this looks like such a nice spot for Nice right now.
Yeah, he's doing such a good job just dancing back and forth with these Phoenix. It's going to become that much easier with the Phoenix range as well, and he is really pushing these units back all the way to the other side of the map, and he's just going to be pressuring all the way through. Nice is just going to be powering across the map.
And this game has been so low economy from start to end in reality. Just so many blows traded, and it looks like Rex, this is the last chance for Rex, but man, with this many of everything, he's just not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, GG is called. Nice takes that one down. Those immortals just chunking through. It was a bit of a dicey one. Things were looking pretty good for Rex. Had a very nice supply lead, but Nice just finding the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity to inject a little bit of chaos in there, and just sways the momentum of the game in his favor. That was a pretty cool first game coming out of those two.
Yeah, definitely. I really felt like Rex was in a good spot, but then Nice just played there was that 2 minutes that he played so perfectly. Setting it up ahead of time with the Warp Prism, that actually created so much chaos. When the way he moved his army around, he didn't take that much damage to the mutas, which when they come out, when you've got 10 and your push gets shut down, that number is very, very scary, and he dealt with them very well.
Yeah, the very strong 2 minutes for Nice. Looks like, even though 2 minutes is a short time, he. Where am I going with this? I'm trying to make a terrible joke here, Chappy. Can you help me? It's not how long the 2 minutes is. It's how you use it. It's the motion in the ocean.
And he used it so well during that.
Data C is, of course, it's under the water, so it is the ocean.
And those were the... No.
You don't have to go with this. It's fine.
I was just making it worse and worse. And Light is reporting in right now. 2 minutes is a long time, average I've heard.
Calling out Light there. It's all right.
Just an interesting statement. Just
nothing to be ashamed of course.
Of course. No.
Meanwhile, we do see that second map being chosen here. It's going to be Stargazers. That's kind of interesting. I think that's Rex's map pick, actually, Stargazers, then.
Wow. So I guess we're seeing so many ZVPs on Stargazers. At the start of the season, I thought that everyone had kind of had this consensus that Stargazers was... I will pause this line of thought for a moment, and in the top right corner, for Onsyde Gaming, it's Rex.
And spawning here in the top left-hand corner of the map in the red, for Good Game Gaming, it is Nice.
Yeah, and as I was saying, it felt like at the start of the season, people really thought that Stargazers was probably the best map in the pool for Protoss. So I'm surprised to see Rex go this here, and I wonder if he's got some strange, weird strategies to match this strange, weird map.
Yeah, definitely. I would expect that Rex maybe has something a little bit sneaky in store. Maybe looking to abuse the little backbase areas. Maybe those minerals that you can mine out to get into the third there. And it looks like he is going to be going for a pull first, and he is sending a drone across the map here.
Wow. Oh, so is this going to be a hatch block or a proxy hatch? I'm quite excited to see what this one is.
Yeah, it looks like he is starting to route that drone up towards these back minerals, but oh, nice. He knows what's going on here. He actually gets a vision of this hatchery here.
How is Nice's brain so big? Surely this must have happened to him recently. This feels like such a great prep build. I've never seen this before. This is such a cool play, but Nice ready immediately.
Yeah, this is insane. It looks like it looks like he's map hacking. Like, it looks like he knew exactly what was coming out. Actually going for a forge right away, going for a zealot. He seems to know exactly what was coming from Rex, and we see it right away. Actually, a cannon being started up at these minerals here, so he's not going to be able to mine these minerals out because he's going to be shot away at it by a cannon. The zealot's going to be showing up, starting to slash away at this hatchery as well. This is such a rough spot here as Rex. Like, what do you do now?
And the thing is, Rex doesn't know. Rex doesn't know there's a cannon on the high ground at the moment. And when these lings kind of start poking at this zealot, he's going to see the cannon blast, and oh boy, is he not going to be happy.
Yeah, this is such a rough position, but nice. We can see he's been cheesed a few times on the ladder. He knows what he's in for here, and he has a really nice response prep for this already. We're seeing a cannon going down at that natural wall as well as a roach warren going for Rex. So Rex really doubling down on this.
Yeah, definitely. Feeling so pressured to just make something happen. Yeah, going to be a Ravager Ling bust probably. But the Stargate is on the way. I wonder if it's in time for this, but...
Yeah, we do see that surround on the Zealot, so he's going to be taking out the Zealot, but that Zealot almost more for scouting at that time. We see that Stargate being started up. That's going to be really important for defending this build, but at the same time, those first few roaches coming out, and with the Overlord vision there, he might even be able to start biling away at these cannons.
An excellent excellent idea by Nice as well. He checks the gold base. Like you were saying last time, it's like, what other things that are most scary to me? And he checks the gold, make sure that doesn't cheat out some economy that he really doesn't deserve. And
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We do see those first few bars being used on this cannon here. Does look like Rex is still going to be committing to try to break through this back door here. We see those drones coming in here, and we can see the plan of Rex. This is really cool. I love this. With that proxy hatch there, he's going to be able to return those minerals straight away. So he's going to be able to mine this out very quickly. We do see Adept diving straight on the drones. He sees every second's going to count here when it comes to taking out the minerals here.
And that was really, really smart. If Rex only had 2 drones there, then it just completely stops it. It takes double the amount of time to get through and gives him more time for these important Stargate units.
Wow, and we see a spore being thrown down by Rex. This is such a cool build. I love this preparation, but nice, very good micro there. He will be taking down these Ravagers quite quickly, and that does take a lot of the sting out of the build here, but there's so many Lings in his base, and Nice does not look happy.
No, and his Oracle has no energy. Nice saw everything. It felt like he prepared so well, but this build seems so killer on this map.
Yeah, this is a crazy build for this map. This is so hard to deal with, and he's going to be losing that Nexus. He does not look happy there in the camera, Rex. He has really pulled the rabbit out of the hat on this one because it looks like things were not going well for him. Nice was all over the defense, got that cannon up, got that Zealot there working away at that hatchery, but Rex breaks through, takes out the Nexus, and he wants more here.
This will be interesting. I want to see if he can hold here. He's got a cannon, battery, 3 oracles. 3 oracles is a lot, though. I wonder. I don't know who's going to win this. I really don't.
Yeah, looks like Nice. He's already popped the charge on those oracles, so he has tried to get as much damage as he can. But Rex can just fall back to this spore that he made earlier, and he's going to be able to rotate around towards the front here as well, start getting those vials going down. We see a few extra cannons going up for Nice as well, but it's going to be so hard for him to get anything. It's going to be so hard for him to get out of this natural. I think for Rex, I wouldn't actually mind seeing him maybe trying to transition out of this as well.
I was wondering that as well. How possible is it? Like, it is very scary having 3 oracles and no queens at home to defend, maybe, but
right.
So I respect the decision to keep going, but I really don't know the answer either.
Yeah, that is a good point. But with that shield battery overcharge being committed with those 3 oracles as well, things are starting to look a little bit difficult for Rex. I'm not really sure how he's going to break through this natural because this is some serious fortifications, and looks like Nice. He is happy with how well he's built up his defenses. He's going to be sending the oracles across the map.
Wow, that's a baller play, but it is the game. It's a game-winning play. He can snipe down every single drone here, I think.
Yeah, we're seeing him taking out the Queens. Very nice micro with the Oracles, just pulling back those weakened ones. He's going to be able to send those back home to defend as well, as there's not really too much back at his base that is shooting up for Rex. I see that Ravager poking in there. He's going to be taken out by this Oracle, or just.
Ooh, yep. I think there was some slight miscontrol, but 6 workers at this stage of the game, when you have 19 drones total, this is just... Rex has no economy. He has to make something happen within the next minute.
Yeah, he really does have to make something happen. When you see those queens, he is starting to creep up towards that base there, so he will be able to start getting on top of this. But at the same time for Nice, he's actually got up to 4 oracles here, and I don't think he's going to be able to defend. We're starting to get into the territory where he can just DPS down this spore.
And I love this decision. Just this is the economy has everything here, and Rex is so all in right now. He's got a minute left in this game.
Yeah, there is no mining left for Rex. He's just trying to buy time for himself, just trying to outrun these oracles until they run out of energy. But the oracles, really, they can just sit here and wait till they get more energy. We see a 5th oracle being sent out, and this front wall here, he's going to lose the forge, but he really doesn't mind too much. He has enough cannons here. He has the extra gateways coming up. He's starting to make stalkers as well, in conjunction with the battery. Once he has that shield overcharge, so those stalkers, they are not going to be going down unless they get surrounded by the Lings.
Yeah, and the thing is, Rex wants to go so bad. He's got 2 Ravagers. He needs to get enough surface area that his Lings can dive on in. But as we look there, it's such a narrow choke. He doesn't have time, but he needs time to break through to do anything here.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing him pull that trigger as soon as those gateways go down. But we see every single drone going down. He has to go now.
Yeah, definitely. Getting some spores on top. Maybe that's the way. Get some creep in front of it so the oracles can kill everything. But beautiful force fields by Nice.
Yeah, very, very nice force fields. That cannon is not going to be going down with that overcharge on top of it. With these Lings, they have a hopeless job here. They do take down the cannon eventually. They are getting on top of this shield battery, but with those oracles returning as well, I just don't see a way through for Rex here. We see that supply is plummeting, and GG is called. Nice with the 2-0.
Yeah, really well played by Nice. That last game was such a cool build, and it even looked dicey for a bit. So I think this build has a lot of power. The fact that it was scouted so early, and it still got so much damage done. Really well played by Nice this series.
Yeah, Nice. He looked really stressed in that camera there towards the end of that game. It was a very good defense in the end, and he got that kind of damage that he needed. But there was a moment there where it was looking pretty rough. It was looking like he was a little bit scared he was going to be losing this game, but he manages to get that 2-2 score, and we do see both teams tied up going into the final match. So Neeb versus Dream coming up, and it all comes down to this.
That's really exciting. Do you know who the ace match players would be? Would it be a repeat of Neeb versus Dream? What happens if this is a 1-1 store, Asher?
I feel like... So we do get the ace match. I don't want to tease everyone with Maru, but I feel like it would make the most sense to bring out Maru. They can, of course, send out players that they haven't played yet. I'm guessing they just wanted to give Maru a little bit of a break after his GSL, but yeah, I don't know. It could be Solar, could be Maru. Maybe Neeb even? I don't know. They've got such a strong team Onsyde. It really does feel like they are, if not the favorites to be top 2, top 3 in this competition.
Yeah, definitely a very strong team. Yeah.
They don't have our boy Raynor though.
They don't. But not every team can have a Raynor, and I respect and appreciate that.
Yeah, some very strong other teams in this competition as well. We've got DPG as well. DPG, they're pretty scary. They don't have Rogue yet anymore, of course. He's gone off to the military, but still a pretty scary looking team.
I haven't been following it as much. So who do you think the favorites are, I guess, for this for the Woody team league?
Well, I would say DPG and Onsyde are absolutely the favorites. We of course have, the dark horses, the CranKy Ducklings. They could maybe upset a few people here and there. But yeah, the big favorites, of course, DPG and Onsyde. A few of the teams that we saw from last season, like Freaks, aren't quite the same that they were. I know Liquid as well. They've had a bit of a shaky start, but with a Laser and Clem, they are a pretty decent team as well. Trying to think who else. Kaizi, of course, very strong.
Yeah.
Familiar with that team, of course. Got Raynor, Spirit, Time. Time's been popping off lately.
With Time and Raynor on a team, yeah, it's a very strong combo.
Yeah, but meanwhile, we do have, of course, this very exciting game in front of us, Neeb versus Dream. And honestly, I'm wondering for Neeb, he's been this player that's been one that kind of sits back, is defensive, is kind of this fortress, really, this late game powerhouse. I would say maybe the best late game Protoss player we've seen in a long time.
Definitely, over the history, he's always been the one that has innovated in the late game, actually. He's been the one that pushes forward with battery farms, with Tempest, and really has great control. And we've seen that for people in his region even, Scarlet, the way she deals with it is she tries to kill him mid-game. She feels like she has to get some advantage there because Neeb, the second he takes it there, he's so scary.
Yeah, I don't know how much I can speak to his PvT, but I know especially in his PvZ, he's been one of the only players that can really take it to the likes of Daryl in the late game, but we do have these power hexagons coming up. Looks like they're pointing towards Neeb's micro as his biggest strength. Interesting.
I think that's very interesting too. His micro is obviously insane, but I always thought his macro and his defense were his big, strong selling points.
Yeah, I think of him as a very strong strategy player as well, but meanwhile we do see Dream. Dream's got a very strong hexagon here. They're actually rating him quite highly at the moment, whereas I feel like he's been having a bit of issues with form lately.
Yeah, it felt like, sure, he took out Raynor in GSL, but like he hasn't been posting as many results as maybe a few seasons ago we'd been hoping for the man.
He did take out Raynor in GSL. Let's just dwell on that point a little bit.
And
Feels
it was
good.
well played, buddy. Yeah, like good job. Like, yeah, sure. Reina didn't understand at the moment. There was just
Mhm.
different types of two base all ins, and it's
You know, in the team league last week, he got him again with the same two base all in, like the early lib one.
that's so sick. I think that's such a good build versus Reina too. Like his response. Ah, yeah. No, Reina. In the bottom left-hand corner, for Onsyde Gaming, it's Neeb.
And spawning in the top right hand corner of the map for Good Game Gaming, GGG. It is Dream.
Asher, I'm gonna need to ask you a favor, all right?
Okay.
Reina is now my trigger word. Every time you bring it up, all I can do is think about and just breathe and live Reina. It's all I care about for that moment. And just, if we could, for a little bit, not mention the man's name because it brings up sad memories with GSL, obviously, from time to time.
Understandable.
And, yeah.
While Dream is on the screen, we'll try not to trigger you. So we'll just talk about Dream's TVP. We haven't seen him go against the Protoss of that particular player, so we don't have to think about it. We can just move on. Meanwhile, for Dream, we are seeing not really going for that meta two gas style. Is going to be going for a single gas here, so going for a little bit of a more macro play, even on this smaller map.
Yeah, which is very interesting. Not as mind gamey as is in the meta at the moment, obviously, and I wonder how Neeb feels about that.
Yeah, very interesting, very respectful as well of Neeb. It feels like he knows that he can't really get him with an early game timing. Maybe respecting that 9 in micro there. But it looks like he's going to be able to get this base down without too much trouble. And for Neeb, I wouldn't be too surprised to see him maybe go for a Stargate opening here as well. Dream doing a good job there as well, just denying the scout on that first unit there. Doesn't want to show the Marine unless you can confirm a kill on that probe.
Yeah, definitely. Nice play by Dream so far. Just kind of macroing on up. Getting an early bunker because of the no scout, I guess.
Yep.
Oh, and only one Marine as well into the reactor.
Yeah, we do see Dream. He's not going for a 3-rack, so we are officially out of your area of expertise when it comes to TVP. This is all new ground for you, of course.
I'm freaking out right now. Why hasn't he made 3 Raxes? That's the...
How did he get his factory so early? Is that allowed?
Well, what's the point? Don't you need 20 Marines at the 5-minute mark? That's the timing that I care about.
Meanwhile, we do see Neeb going to be sending out that adept, and we do see that quick switch. It does look like he's going to be going for that proxy starpod as well. So looks like a Hellion drop. Very interesting. This is a build that we've seen. It's quite a favorite, quite a pet build of Clem actually. Something that he's been pulling out in almost every best of 3 that he plays, but not something that I've been seeing a lot of other players go for. I know Dream has historically in the past liked these factory reactor openings. But these 2 Hellions, they are going to be shown here to the Adept.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just getting map control, basically. Which is important so you can get out on the map for that medevac drop. And it's got to be on the top of Neeb's mind, seeing these 2 Hellions.
Yeah, just as you say it, absolutely on the top of Neeb's mind. He sends out that Stalker, sees that SEV coming from a bit of a weird angle, and he doesn't even have to check. He knows exactly what's coming, so he's going to be walling off that front, which is really important. We can see Dream. He's actually going for a 5th and 6th Hellion, so what this build is designed to do, he'll be dropping in the front and sending in some extra Hellions. Looks like maybe he's split. No, the 4th is there. So as he drops into the main, he'll be sending 2 more Hellions into the natural, but Neeb, he's fully walled off at the natural. He knows exactly what's going on here.
That's very nice. But there's no pylon in the top left corner, but he moves all of his units across to spot this drop come in.
Yeah, this is some great defense coming out from Neeb. There is a battery here, of course, of these Hellions. They do have to sync up their shots if they do want to take out probes. We are going to see a few probes going down, but some good target fire by Neeb. He's going to be taking out those Hellions, and now that those Hellions are down to 2, they've lost that one-shot potential under the battery. He is going to have to back off for just a moment, but he redrops these 4 Hellions here. Pretty good defense coming out from Neeb, though. Only losing 2 probes so far, and that is not the damage that you need here as Dream. Honestly, I think with this build, you're looking at needing 7 or 8 probe kills to be in a good spot. And
yeah,
he just did not get that.
Yeah, definitely. Neeb showing some stellar defense, but I think Dream messing up a little bit on the micro too. There were a couple of missed shots. It wasn't as synced as maybe it could be, and Dream's got to be kind of annoyed at how that went.
Yeah, I'm sure he's kicking himself there. It is fortunate, of course, that he did get those Hellions out, got the medevac out as well, so he can take those back, repair them up, maybe start to get a few of these transferring probes between the natural and the third as well. But it looks like he's just poking and prodding, trying to see if there's any little gaps in the vision of Neeb that he can find, and there we go, he has found one here.
Wow, and coming in 2 minutes later, and oh,
Yeah, lining up these probes. Oh, and these probes are absolutely lining up for him. This is so much damage that he's getting 18 probes. That is the entire mineral line going down there.
wow, that's insane. That's exactly what Dream needed. That was fantastic. Just getting that one spot where there wasn't vision, and now Neeb feels like he has to get something done with these 4 stalkers.
Yeah, that patience from Dream was incredible. It was really important for him that he didn't, snatch at the opportunity to get damaged there and lose his Hellions for nothing. He just realized that, the defensive Neeb at first, it was really good. So he just backed off. He kept those Hellions safe, redropped a little bit, and found the perfect moment to dive in there.
Really interesting play. I like the 6 Hellions when I look at it now. Where he sacks those 2 at the start, normally with the 4, there's no follow-up potential. But he just creates so many opportunities to dive into the natural with the first 2 Hellions, and go for this follow-up drop, which obviously works so well.
Yeah, that was really nicely done. And now Neeb, he realizes he's on the back foot. He is not in a good spot economically coming up against the Terran, so he's going to have to find some way to get himself back in this game. Not only is he finding one way, he's finding 2 ways to get back in the game. He's going Disruptors and DTs.
Yeah, and I like his positioning of the Stalkers too. If there's one way to come back, it's if he does a random drop outside the map, just be there. Catch those. Oh, a Sephiron Disruptor as well.
Yeah, I was actually about to say that. That's so funny. Yeah, this is the classic Sephiron Disruptor. You just bait out the units with the Stalkers. Oh, good job there blinking on that medevac. Just doesn't have enough to one-shot there. I think it's 9 Stalkers to one-shot the medevac. But he does have this sneaky Disruptor here, trying to catch and move out onto the map. That is one way you can get back into the game, but Dream is being very cautious here.
Oh, and this medevac looks like it might be intercepted by the Stalkers, which would be big. Oh, it's 1 Stalker. Oh, I thought there was like 10 there. I thought this was going to be an exciting moment. Boo, boo.
Yeah, Neeb really letting you down there. Bit unfortunate, but looks like Dream is just going to be poking out, trying to clear out a little bit of that map vision. This is very important as the Terran just to clear out the map vision of the Protoss, but some nice disruptor shots there. Does get a bit of damage on this tank as well, but not enough to push back this attack of Dream yet.
But yeah, definitely Neeb finding every chance he can just to push back anything. He feels like he's not in a great spot, and he needs to make some things happen. And he has gotten some decent damage so far.
Yeah, really nice micro with the Stalkers here is just delaying this push across the map. Does have this sneaky DT here as well for an extra little bit of vision. If Dream does see the little shimmer on the map, he will be able to scan for this as well. And that will give him an idea of what's going on. But looks like this tank is going to be going down. So nicely done by Neeb there, taking a bit of the sting out of this push. But Dream is slowly finding his way forward here.
Yeah, definitely. And he's going for that back-breaking push. As much as Neeb has kind of done damage across the map.
Ooh, great scan there. Takes out the DT before it can do anything to the tanks there. We do see that overcharge being committed, but the Disruptor going to be going down anyway. Ooh, big Nova there. That is going to slow down this push quite a lot for Dream. But meanwhile, we do see him getting his 3rd on location there. We see him starting up a few Liberators as well.
Yeah, but the bio count really has been reset. The tanks are in such a sick spot, but there just isn't that bio count that you need. Those Disruptor shots, I think, got him through this defense.
Yeah, very nice cleanup from Neeb. Dropping those Zealots right on top of those tanks is going to be able to start clearing this one up. And that does push Dream back. And suddenly, Neeb finding himself with a little bit of a supply lead.
And one thing you got to note, though, is that Neeb, it feels like he was very all in on that defense. He had no charge in production. He had no upgrades at all. He's just starting his first forge. He's got a lot of robo units, so it is working out, but he needed to hold that, and he put all his resources into holding it, and he did. Really well played by Neeb.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do see he's starting to find himself with a pretty awkward, nice disruptor count, which can make things really awkward for Dream. So Dream finds this position where he has these spots where if he just takes one big Nova, suddenly this game can be pulled away from him. He has to be really careful with how he defends this.
Yeah, definitely. The Warp Prism getting shoot away, very important that you don't have to deal with 2 fronts while this attack is happening. especially with disruptors. A nice pickup by the Marauder, just keeping every unit he can alive.
Yeah, we do get to use the word nice now. It's been unlocked once again. Let's go. Yeah, but this disruptor count, this is starting to get pretty scary. Once you get up to 6 or 7 disruptors, you do have the opportunity to pretty much just constantly send out Novas one after another to zone back the army. And using that, Neeb might start to be able to kind of wedge himself into this area.
It's such a sick spot. Neeb doesn't need to do anything out on the map. Sorry, he doesn't need to kill him at the moment. He's just sitting out on the map, getting map control, and with his Stalker Disruptor, making any move out by the Terran so scary.
Yeah, we just see him starting to power up here, but Dream doing a good job there, just shaving off all of those zealots, gets out of there before the Blink Stalkers can arrive. Very good game sense there to realize that he doesn't need to overstay there. Has his sensor tower set up as well, so he can see all the movements outside of his base. Also really important for his defense here. We do see that 4th base coming out, we see the EMP upgrade, we see the Ghosts coming out, and the 2-2. So he is powering himself into a later game, and he will have a very strong 2-2 timing if he can survive this push by Neeb.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think? I think there's no Vikings at the moment, and Neeb's about to have 3 Colossuses. Do you think that's a really bad spot, or do you think that this army is enough to kind of defend, even despite that?
Yeah, so I like what Dream's doing here. When you don't have the Viking count to deal with the Colossus, you do need to be dropping and setting up multi-prong across the map just to force the army to split up here. The power of Neeb's army here is when it's all together. And if Dream can force him to be coming back and defending, having to defend his flanks, defend his economy here, that can be really beneficial for him. So it looks like Neeb split up the Colossus on one side and the Disruptors on the other. He's just going to be sitting out on the middle of the map here, just getting that extra control. And that does give Dream enough time to get into those Vikings, get into that EMP and the 2-2, if he does choose to get Vikings after all. But it looks like he's pretty happy just to sit back on tank bio.
Yeah. But we're also seeing from Neeb, it feels like, as we were saying before, he's so comfortable in those late games that he doesn't feel pressured to do something at the moment. He's maxed out, he's got a great spot, but he's kind of splitting on 2 parts of the map, and he's looking taking up and looking real good.
Yeah, hitting some nasty Novas there, and that does put a pretty nasty dent into the supply of Dream. We do see him dropping down once again, and Neeb has used this map control that he's got here to such an advantage. We see him starting up that Blink DT as well. That's going to be so annoying for Dream to deal with once he starts to try to take that 5th base. That is something that, on this map especially, your bases are pretty far apart, and it can be really annoying having to defend on 2 fronts. Meanwhile, we do see, wow, big Blink, big Disruptor shots. That is a lot of the army of Dream going down there.
That was so much damage. Neeb split his army perfectly for what was happening there. It's so scary. And he feels like with that, he might even be able to go for the kill on the 3rd.
Yeah, Neeb smells blood here. He's going to be able to use those disruptors just to zone out the army of Dream. And with this high Stalker count, there's a lot of anti-air here. But meanwhile, for Dream, that is his time to go. He's going to be dropping into the main here, jumping right on top of all of these units, taking down as many pylons as he can. And he can even EMP that Nexus if he wants to deny the recall. But it looks like Neeb is going to be going for a full base trade here.
Yeah, it looks like it. What he's got at home is he's got a Colossus. It feels like he's got enough to even defend it at home, while still putting pressure at the front.
Yeah, the SimCity really working for him here. Is not going to be able to get those Colossus jumped on. Meanwhile, we see back at home, Dream is able to jump on this Colossus and actually taking a lot of these Stalkers out. A little bit of a misplay by Neeb there, I think, to go up without his Disruptors.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and it looked like such a baller Blink at the moment, but it was just a bit too baller. I don't know, like...
Yeah, those Disruptors were just sitting down there at the bottom of the ramp helplessly. They can't really do anything to help, and this attack of Dream might even be able to take out the Disruptors across the map, but Neeb, he is everywhere. He takes out these extra medevacs. He's done such a good job with his control, and this is starting to get really awkward for Dream. We do see this army a little bit too many ghosts, not really enough bio to get too much done, but if he's able to take apart little areas of, small sections of Neeb's army, he does have a chance here, but once Neeb gets his whole army together, this is going to be very difficult for him.
And he jumps right on that Liberator, and there's just too much here from Neeb. And with such a sick... Oh! I take it back.
Yeah, Terran units, they're pretty good against Protoss units, I'm not going to lie. We do see those extra Novas going down. They are going to be forcing the splits. The Colossus are going to take out the rest of their army, and we see Dream not really micro anymore. He sees the end. It is a GG.
Yeah, with Neeb in that base trade, what happened was Dream's economy was just completely shut out. He went down to 40 workers, but Neeb still sat up at 75, 80. And even though at the end fight, which I didn't realize that Dream would trade so well, but the Ghost Auto attack really gets through at times. Excellent play from Neeb.
I can't believe you managed to get that in there. Yes, the Ghost Auto attack. Pretty crazy that a caster has a good auto attack as well. I can see maybe some intelligent Zerg players should make some Reddit threads about that, but alas, we just have to go on with the game.
Some intelligent Zergs did make a Reddit thread, and he at least convinced 2 people, you know, so...
Wow. Signs of life are out there. But meanwhile, we do see Onsyde. They are on match point here in Good Game Gaming. I have to say, they've really put up a very strong fight against one of the favorites in the league here. So it does come down to this. Dream has to win this map to keep his team in this one, and it's going to be Moondance that he chooses here. I love this for Dream. This is a very nice map for Terran against Protoss due to all the angles that you can drop on, the very short rush distance as well. I wonder if he's going to have something specially prepared here, maybe a 1 base all in, 2 base all in, something like that.
And I wonder if that's the way to take out Neeb. I think he has great reactions, but when it comes to that late game, he's so solid. And every step he takes, it's to get to that second late game. Last game, it felt like Neeb was at a really bad spot in that early game. And he was able to claw his way back through some great strategic choices, I think, and just take over the map.
Yeah, exactly. This is something we were talking about before. I think giving him a 7 in strategy is kind of weird because he's shown time and time again that he does know the path to victory in a lot of weird, awkward positions, and he does know the late game as well, which I feel like the strength of a late game player is the strategy, understanding the path to victory, understanding the game state really well. We could see those kind of skills coming out in that game where he found himself in such an awkward spot, but he found the path to victory, the way to make the comeback.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Neeb's strategy is very strong, and yeah, I'm surprised.
Surprised, but not surprised by the Ghost Auto attack. That's not a surprise.
You know, well, sometimes I need a vent, you know. Yeah, I can give you some ghost. Do you want some ghost facts? Probably not.
Oh, some ghost trivia? You know what? We have a little bit of time, Chappy. Go for it. Oh, the game's starting. What a shame. And spawning in the bottom right corner of the map for Onsyde Gaming, it is Neeb.
And in the top left corner for GGG Gaming, we have Dream.
Such a shame that you're not going to be able to get those facts out, but you know, there's just too much happening in this early game. I don't think we're going to be able to get to that.
That's so unfortunate. I guess next game, I'll keep asking constantly through each of the games. If I can just slot this in if you'd like. I'm sure we'll find time at some point at least.
You can do that. You know, maybe one of these days you can tell us about the Ghost Auto attack in the form of a song, Chappy.
Oh, man. I was saying to Asher earlier, actually. Oh, no.
Yeah, we just see the sponsor's been pointed out that TGIF doesn't stand for Thank God It's Friday. I wish it did, but it's a chair. It's okay. Do you have a nice chair, Chappy? I feel like you're a big lad. You need a good chair for your back.
I do. Like, because my standard work is as a software dev and I work from home so much, I'm like, well, I should get a proper chair. I got a proper desk too with the up and down table, you know the word.
Oh, the stand ones?
Yep, I haven't plugged it in. Can't figure out how to do it.
Wait, really? So you just use it as a sitting desk, but it...
100%, yeah. I think it's at the wrong height currently. God, I'm good.
Oh no. Yeah. That's alright. I feel like it's probably not even tall enough for you. You're too big, Chapster.
This is height, by the way, for the people out in the audience. Asher is referring to my height. Thank you.
Of course. Meanwhile, we do see a pretty similar build coming out from Dream. Is going to be just starting up that Marine first. He's going to be going into the fast factory as well, the early gas. So probably going to be seeing something similar. We see that reactor going down the bunker as well. So everything kind of the same already.
Yeah. Exact same build. I wonder if there's slight variations in it just to... Oh, but we're seeing a SAV going to the bottom left. So maybe it's going to be the exact same build. I do wonder.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Just going for the same thing once again. But there is a few different variations you can do from here. There is the potential to even walk out mines. It's a little bit weird, but it's not impossible. You can even start some banshees from this start bot in the bottom left-hand corner. But I think considering how much damage he got with that Hellion drop, I wouldn't be surprised to just see him go for the same thing again, because that worked out really well for him in the first game. I mean, honestly, just thinking back to that game, how crazy is that? Neeb lost, what, 18, 19 probes to the Hellion run by, and he still managed to get the win there.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't at the very start. It was that delayed one, but even so, that was really sick by Neeb. He just created so many opportunities with the Sephiron disruptors, with everything.
Yeah, absolutely. But we do see him putting on a little bit more pressure this time. Does have the Stalker at the front as well, so Dream's going to be a little bit more shy to show those Hellions. Doesn't really want to be taking the fight with the Stalker. That is going to delay his push a lot if he takes that much damage. Meanwhile, do you see this SEV kind of going off at some weird angles here?
And how does this work from Dream's point of view, actually? How does this build kind of get out of the base? Do you just run past the Stalkers and take a bunch of hull damage? What is the play?
Yeah, I don't know, because obviously the hull damage is not going to be good. I think you just have to fight here, and you can just repair once you've taken a bit of damage. But for Neeb, he's keeping everything on this side of the map.
But it's so awkward, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
the proxy Stargate. He puts so much effort into being able to hit as early as possible, but these just with 2 Stalkers. Neeb has completely halted his build. This is a great change up by Neeb.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be having to sneak out those metabacks here. But yeah, you can really see what a powerful strategic player Neeb is. I know I keep harping on this, but I think it does need to be shown that he is such a clever player. And I don't think you can do the same build against him twice, because he can make these adjustments.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah. Everything we're saying is it's so smart. I didn't think of this, of course, and then he shows us. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Everything makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's a really good adjustment. We just see that warp in right on time. He's going to be blocking out those Hellions, even blinking after them. And man, Neeb has done such a good job this time defending this. He's been all over it.
Yeah, his Stalkers were outside the... Oh, but he's even got 2 Stalkers in the main, ready to intercept this drop. Great job so far by Neeb.
Yeah, this is some fantastic defense. And honestly, I want to give Dream credit for the move that he went for last time, but it did also feel like there was a little bit of luck involved. It felt like that was the only moment that he could find to get that Hellion drop in. And if he hadn't been able to do that, he would have been deflected perfectly. And we are seeing once again, Neeb finding himself with a very good start to the defense here.
Oh, still a stereo build though. Gets all 4 Hellions out with the... There's something in the natural as well that's fighting. I wonder what that is, taking attention away.
Yeah, so we see 7 probes going down here. We see the medevac going down as well. It does look like he managed to sneak in. I think he might have landed the Viking there. Yeah.
Yep. So, not what Dream was looking for. He wanted that damage, 1, earlier, and 2, just more. It was 6 Hellions for 8 probes. I'm worried for Dream right now.
Yeah, losing the medevac, losing the Hellions there as well, you do hope to get a little bit more for that, especially losing the Viking, because that does mean that he's only just starting up the reactor on that starport now. And that does delay his push by quite a lot. That bunker is going to be going down here, and Neeb just going to be able to keep putting pressure on here. Might even be jumping straight into the main here.
I love that. My 8 brain went to blink on the tank, Neeb. And maybe that was the play, but yeah, just very calm, calculated, as he always is. Loving Neeb's spot, because last game, it was the same spot, but he was way further behind. And we can see that he's getting upgrades, charge, 8 gates. He feels much more in control of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, we do see that he is using his position just to force map control. He never really feels like he has to hit this big, strong timing and just take out Dream. He's happy to respect where he's at and just kind of contain him here, chip away at whatever is exposed. But I really like the patience from Neeb. Doesn't really force any damage where it's not available.
Yeah, one thing about this map, obviously it has the backwards third. What do you think about that? With PVT, 2 base all-ins are always on the mind of the Protoss player.
Yeah.
How do you think you're able to even scout this? How do you think Neeb is reacting to what he's seeing right now?
Yeah, I think this does make things awkward for Neeb as well. It does also, it changes the dynamics a bit. Neeb would have the opportunity to be attacking a third now, maybe even denying a third from landing. It probably putting Dream into a really awkward all-in position. But because Dream, sorry, can take this back base, he's a lot safer. But meanwhile for Neeb, we do see him just powering up. He is getting those Immortals, getting those Zealots, getting the upgrades a lot earlier than last time. And he has his Prism, has an extra Robo and Robo Bay as well. So he's going to start to go into those Disruptors once again.
Yeah, and I love that. Sitting on 3 bases for now, catching these units out on the map. Ooh, big blink forward.
Yeah, very aggressive blink forward there. Does smell blood, but looks like Dream is going to be able to start fighting with this. But all those Zealots are doing so much work. Nice force fields as well, just cutting off the units of Dream. And he's just going to be blinking after these units. Nice pick up there as well, but I think Neeb with those Immortals can just keep going here.
And I feel like that's just the numbers advantage right now from the early game that Neeb is feeling. And he's able to push into the natural at the moment, which is so scary for Dream.
Yeah, absolutely. When you go for a build like that, Hellion drop, you really do need to get damage. Obviously, having a starport all the way across the map, that is going to set you back pretty far. You're not going to be able to build tech labs for your Raxes with that or anything like that. Not going to be able to build Ravens. And you can't just, go for these builds and not get the damage. And we're seeing the results of that right now.
Yeah, definitely. Neeb is now just taking full map control, we're saying. He's getting a 4th at the moment. He's got a Warp Prism out on the map. Everything is right outside Dream's natural. He is in full control.
Yeah, this is such an uncomfortable spot here as a Terran. Not only are you struggling to survive here, but you know that behind this, the Protoss has all sorts of things that they can be doing. And yeah, I'm just not really sure as Dream here what the path to victory is coming back into this game.
And it is so scary, especially like a player like Neeb, who when they're ahead, they just get more ahead. It's not the people that you can over defend and just like pray that they attack into you. Neeb will never do that. It's so hard to play versus players like this.
Yeah, it makes me think of a bit of the rep that Mario has, where Mario would go for these crazy aggressive builds, and you really get this feeling that it doesn't matter if they don't work out for him, because he's so strong in the late game that as long as he can get there, it doesn't even matter if he's a little bit behind.
Yeah, definitely. That's always been something that's impressed me so much about Mario. When he's behind, it feels like that means he's somehow in an even spot. He's just able to equalize the game so easily.
Yeah, it's like these players have an extra life. That's something that we saw with Neeb in the first game. He really did have such a rough spot, but he managed to get himself back into it. But meanwhile, we do see the Prism in the back is going to be going down. Does look like there was a little bit else going on for the Neeb on the map, but these 3 Colossus coming in here, this is going to be very hard for Dream to hold. I don't know how he's going to do this.
And yeah, and it is just so choked as well. All of the Colossus is going to get insane laser swipes every single time.
Yeah, we just see him swiping away this Buyer. The Buyer very overstim, taking a lot of shots from these Colossus. The tank on the high ground doing a lot of work, but we see so many SCVs going down, and GG is called. Neeb will take that one down 2-0, and Onsyde getting the victory here over GGG.
That was very well played. 6 showing by Neeb, especially just no need to get to an ace map. No need to ask that question. Yeah, if we need to bring out Mario or anything. So really well played by Neeb and the rest of the team.
Yeah, very well done by Neeb. Really clutching it out for the team there. They did kind of put it all in his hands. He had to get the 2-0 there. Otherwise, they would have been going to the ace match there. But does manage to get it done and really shows his quality as a player. Because Dream's no joke as well. Like, Neeb showing his chops here.
Yeah, definitely. And Dream put out some decent games. That first game especially, but it just felt like Neeb has so much control, is able to exert so much control onto the game, come back from any position, and really happy with how Neeb played that series.
Yeah, 100%. So with that, we do see Onsyde Gaming taking the 4-2 victory over Good Game Gaming. And now we do have a little bit of a break, so I will give you the opportunity, Chappy, to go grab some water, catch your thoughts, relax, maybe, think about some Zerg players that you very much admire. Get your strength back that way, because we will have Alpha Rax and CranKy Ducklings coming up very soon. So stay